Okay, now we are going to explore the principle of a blue ocean strategy. Now, principles of blue ocean strategy are the six main principles that guide the companies through the formulation and the execution of their blue ocean strategy in a very systematic risk minimization and opportunity maximization manner. Yeah. So when we talk about the blue ocean strategy, right? Uh, what would be the principle? What would be the main principle? Yeah. Now, the first principle is to reconstruct market boundaries. To reconstruct market boundaries. So what does it mean? Now, this principle identify the path by which managers can systematically create uncontested market space across diverse industry domain. Thus, limiting the search risk, yeah, or actually expanding the search risk. It will teach companies how to make the competition irrelevant by looking across the strict conventional boundaries of competition to open up commercially important blue ocean. The sixth path on looking across alternative industries across a strategic group, yeah, strategic group, across buyers group, across complementary product and service offering, yeah, and across functional, emotional orientation of an industry and even across time. So we need to say it is about creating new market segment, creating new market opportunities. Yeah. The first, sorry, the second principle, uh, I have actually guide you in the first lecture. Focus on the big picture, not the numbers. This illustrate how to design a company strategic planning process to go beyond incremental improvement, i.e., to create a value innovation. So when we talk about blue ocean, it's always about innovation, creating improvement. It's not incremental, but actually it is a leap off, right? Very high differences. So it presents an alternative to the existing strategic planning process, which is often criticized as a number crunching exercise that keep companies locked into making incremental improvement because they focus on numbers, existing numbers. This principle tackle the planning risk. So we use what we call the visualization approach that drive managers to focus on the big picture rather than to be submerged in the numbers and budget and jargon of the strategic management. Now, this principle propose a four-step planning process, yeah, whereby you can build a strategy that creates and capture a blue ocean opportunities. Yeah. Then number three is reach beyond existing demand. So to create the greatest market of a new segment, yeah, managers must challenge the conventional practice of aiming finer segmentation or small segmentation to increase meeting existing clients' preferences. Yeah, this practice often resulting in increasing small target markets, niche. Instead, yeah, these principles show how to aggregate demand not by focusing on the differences that separate customers, but by building on the powerful communities across non-customer to maximize the size of the blue ocean being created and the new demand being unlocked. Hence, it will actually minimizing the scalability risk. Now, what does it mean is that, yeah, you would not be focusing on a niche market, but you would be focusing on the overall broad market segment, broad market segments, because it's important for a business to have scale. Because scale would create what we call the economic of scale. You can actually reduce the cost of operation. Then we move on to the getting the strategic sequence right. Yeah, what does it mean? I actually mentioned this in the first video. Now, this principle ensure company not only to create a leap in value, giving value to the customer, to the buyers, but also to build a viable business model to produce and to maintain profitable growth. eh? uh, in ensuring that company build a business model that profit from blue ocean they created, it must address the business model risk. Like what are the business model? What will be the business model? Let's say budget airline, what will be the business model? Grab, what will be the business model? Yeah. Uber, what will be the business model? This principle articulates, the sequence in which, managers should create a strategy to ensure that both their companies and their customer win. It's a win-win situation as they create a new business terrain, just like what Asia is doing, creating new market share, creating new market segment, giving opportunities for people to travel, and such this strategy, follow the sequence of what we call utility, price, cost, and adoption. Utility in term of benefit, what benefit, price, what is the price that we're actually looking at, cost, what is our cost, and adoption of the mass market. Now, in addition, there are two more principles that address to the execution risk of a blue ocean strategy. The first one, overcoming key organizational hurdles. Yeah. Now, tipping point is that leadership shows managers. Tipping point leadership, shows managers how to mobilize an organization to overcome key organizational hurdle or the blockages that block the implementation of blue ocean, like legacy issues, you know, like cost issues, manpower issues, all those things that are already there. So this principle, deal with organizational risk. Yeah, you need to actually eliminate or reduce all the hurdles or processing hurdle and whatnot, because it will lay out how leaders and managers can actually take advantage of the resources, motivation, and as well as organizational political limitation in spite of the limited time and resources in the organization executing the blue ocean strategy. Yeah, meaning to say you need to settle all the hurdles, settle all the what we call obstacles in implementing. Yeah, like let's say Telekom Malaysia lah. It is a very old company. There's a lot of hurdle. There's a lot of obstacle. There are a lot of old work processes. That's why um, Malaysia Airlines probably would not be able to compete because there's a lot of obstacle and hurdle. And then this number six is build execution into strategy. Follow through. eh? By integrating execution into strategy making, people are motivated to act and execute a blue ocean strategy. This is in order to sustain what we call the momentum deep in the organization. In this principle, what is the original inventor described as uh, fair processes. So mean to say you need to actually ensure that you quickly execute what has been planned. By I would say having a good team to execute. By having a good team to execute. uh, why is this important? Because a blue ocean strategy, represent, a departure from status quo. It's no longer the normal way of doing business. It's a new way of doing business. So what it meant is that a fair process, a new process, is required to facilitate, both strategy making and execution by mobilizing people for their voluntary cooperation. It's not forcing, because but then because they believe in it. They believe in it. Um, so The organization or leaders will be able to deal with risks, yeah, associated with people attitudes and people behaviors.